On this episode of the Massive Agent Podcast, we're going to be talking all about lead response. Responding to your leads is so crucial. You could bring in a whole pile of leads, but if you suck at converting them, or if you suck at responding to them in a timely manner, they're falling through the cracks. You're squandering a lot of those leads that could have potentially been closings. So we're going to talk about some specific ways that you can convert more leads and how to put systems in place to do it.
The Massive Agent Podcast, with lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Massive Agent Podcast, episode number 22. Double deuce. Deuce. I've never said that before in my life, but there we go. The podcast just brings new things out of me, for better or worse. There it is. Guys, we're going to talk about lead response today. We talk a lot about getting leads, how to get leads coming in, but that's only half the battle. It's actually less than half the battle. That's only, that's the first step. So we're going to talk about how to put some systems in place to respond to your leads in a timely manner and how to convert more of those leads. If you just learn a few things on, how to respond to them quicker and how to convert more of them once you talk to them, you're going to be closing a crap load more deals. And that's not a bad thing. That's kind of the goal. So real quickly, for you guys that are new, my name is Dustin Brohm. I am your host. I'm a realtor in Salt Lake City, Utah with eXp Realty, and I'm the founder of Search Salt Lake, also the founder of the brand new Massive Agent Society that's only been live since April 1st. The society is our complete step-by-step, copy-paste, Facebook ad training, support, and lead gen system. It's pretty damn powerful, and it's pretty cool, and we only let one agent per market join. For more info, go to massiveagentsociety.com to see if your market is still available. If so, come join us. There's a bunch of leads coming in, guys. There's a bunch of leads coming in. People are all frustrated about Facebook. Facebook's, had a bunch of bugs and glitches, and people are getting discouraged with Facebook ads, and they're throwing in the towel saying, this doesn't work. Well, guess what, guys? It does work. And when all your competition's throwing in the towel, that's the time you should be doubling down. So we'll show you how to do it, give you the systems to do it, massiveagentsociety.com. Okay, lead response. Generating leads is only the first step. I want you to really wrap your head around that. We spend a lot of time here on the show, as we should, talking about how to get more leads coming in, both paid and organic leads. And we should, because that's the lifeblood of our business. But here's the thing. If you're not converting the leads, or if you don't have systems in place to respond to them within 5 minutes max, they're falling through the cracks. It's like you're filling a bucket with leads, and there's a big hole in the bottom of the bucket, so those leads are just falling out, right? So we're going to help you to plug that hole and put a system in place to respond to your leads. We're going to talk about automating versus outsourcing and the difference, and I'll tell you my personal story of how I started with one, realized, hey, this doesn't work, and I switched to the other. We'll also talk about some specific tools you can use if you want to get some help to automate or outsource responding to your online leads. So guys, like I said, and you're going to hear me say it many more times, getting leads coming in is just the first step. Now, it's very important. If you don't get leads coming in, you could have the best lead response system on the planet, and it doesn't matter because there's nothing to respond to. So it's crucial that you get leads coming in. So if you have leads coming in, fantastic. Now we need to make sure that of those leads, that there's a system in place that they get responded to immediately. Now, there's some statistics out there that show that pretty much if you don't respond to your online leads within 5 minutes, tops, 5 minutes max, if you don't respond to them within 5 minutes, they're gone. Like the chances of you converting them goes absolutely through the floor. It's not totally impossible. It doesn't literally make those leads worthless. Like if you respond in 7 minutes, that's better than not at all. But nonetheless, you need to set your sights on responding in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. So I've kind of come through this journey as a real estate agent ever since I started Search Salt Lake and the website, and I started getting a bunch of online leads. And then once I incorporated Facebook ads into that and I did some Google AdWords, I had leads coming from all different sources. all different times of day. That's the thing with online leads. You don't know when they're coming. And so I've gone through this evolution, and I'll kind of walk you guys through what that looks like. And hopefully it helps some of you, because I think you guys are also somewhere in this evolution process of figuring out the best way to respond to your leads to convert more of them. So at first I was like, hey, when I learned Facebook ads and I really figured out some ads that worked for me, and I was getting, 10 to 20 leads a day, I started realizing, okay, I can't respond to these myself. Just can't do it. It is absolutely impossible. And even if you're only getting one lead per day, if you get one lead per day, it's still guys, we're busy. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're busting your ass, working on social media, putting out content, servicing clients, and then of course spending quality time with your friends and your family, that's important too. You can't always be waiting for that lead to come in because you have no clue when it's coming in. And a lot of times, and I don't have the stat in front of me, but I think it's a majority of leads. More than 50% of the time, leads come in after 8 p.m., sometimes at 1 a.m. And so ideally, if it was a perfect world, every lead that came in, you could respond to personally, send them a little text. Guys, if you have a lead that comes in and you get it right when it comes in, record a quick little video, 30 seconds, and text it to them. Just say, hey, how you doing? Hey, Steve, my name is Dustin with Search Salt Lake. Hey, I see you're looking at this property. That property is amazing. It has this and this and this. I'm just out doing whatever. I'm just out at the playground with my son. So, text me back and we'll get you taken care of. Something like that. If you send a personalized video back to somebody and you text it to them, that greatly increases the chance that you'll convert them, because video, as we've talked about before, allows them to get to know you. Okay, they get to know your personality and everything. And it helps break down that barrier that everybody has these days when somebody reaches out to them. They're like, hey, I'm here to help you. Hey, you asked for information about this property. Remember? Even though of course they remember, but they're like, well, shit, I wasn't expecting a call right now. I want to be in control of this response. That's why texting is so key with lead response. So text them a video if you can. Now, we can't always do that for reasons that I've already mentioned. I mean, there's a million reasons why you're not just sitting there waiting for a lead to come in. And if you are, get off your ass. Go do something. So I thought that the natural next step was to use my CRM. I use LionDesk, and I specifically chose that because of their drip campaigns. You can send emails, video emails, very similar to BombBomb. You could send text messages and video text messages, and any mix of them all within drip campaigns, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love having that functionality. I can send out mass texts. I can send out mass video texts right before a weekend. I could send it to all my buyers and say, hey, you're going to see any open houses this weekend? Here's a list of some open houses. You could say, hey, are there any properties you want to see? Let me know and I'll get you in. That kind of thing. But I went with LionDesk, and my intention back then was to just automate everything. So as soon as a lead came in, I would have it routed to LionDesk and then assigned to a specific drip campaign. A video text would go out immediately and some emails, and it would put them on a drip. But something about that, because it wasn't personal to them, and on the video, because I wasn't saying, hey, Susie, hey, Jordan, hey, Bill, it didn't have that personal touch. And so I think people could kind of feel that, hey, is this meant for me personally, or is this just a canned response? You know what I mean? And so when I automated it, it worked a hell of a lot better than just flying by the seat of my pants, responding when I could, because I don't recommend that. The LionDesk system I had in place, where it's just a drip campaign automated, is better than nothing. But I realized, I'm not converting nearly as many of these as I thought. And so I'm like, well, what would be better? And then I started researching some options out there, and I came across Get Riley, whatever it's called, Riley, where they automatically text your leads back. Then I was like, well, wait a minute. What if I want somebody to call these leads? I want a human being here in the United States to call my leads for me within 5 minutes. Are there any solutions like that? And I came across one called Agentology. I've been using them for over a year, and I really, really like Agentology. And guys, you've heard me say this on previous shows. If you want discounts to either one of those, to LionDesk or Agentology, go to massiveagentpodcast.com/resources. There's links to both where you can get like a 30-day free trial and 10% off LionDesk, stuff like that. go there. That's what I use. There's obviously other great stuff out there, but that's just what I use personally. So Agentology, basically they're inside sales agents. So it's a call center in San Diego. And what they do is they work 24/7, 365. So even Christmas, even New Year's. So if I'm running a Facebook ad campaign, the leads come in and I use Zapier to zap the lead from Facebook over to Agentology. They respond for me within 5 minutes guaranteed. 24/7, 365. How amazing is that? So knowing that the majority of leads come in after 8 p.m., I don't want to respond to those leads after 8 p.m. So I pay Agentology to do it. You could hire your own ISA. There's nothing wrong with that. That works. But are they going to work 24/7? No. Are they going to work 365? No. And then they're an employee and you have to deal with payroll and stuff like that. So I just pay Agentology. It's like paying a subscription service. There's no payroll to do, no nothing, and my leads get routed right to them. So what they do is they respond up to 10 times over a 5-day period. They send a combination of texts, emails, and phone calls. They actually have a human being make a phone call. And here's what's key. Because they do this for so many agents all around the country, they know what works and what doesn't. So they're constantly testing out different verbiage, like misspellings in the text messages and stuff like that to make it seem more real and more personal. I heard that what they were doing was they'll send a text with like an intentional misspelling, and then they'll immediately text back with like asterisk and then correct the spelling to make it seem like it's a real person. And it is, but then it's obvious that, hey, this isn't some bot, this isn't some automatic drip campaign going on. And that helps convert. So they test stuff like that for me when I don't have the time or resources to do that. They do. So I love those guys for that. And I know I think there's a couple other services out there like that, but I like them. That's who I use, Agentology. It's like $25 a month. And then depending on how many leads they respond to, it's like $6 per lead, $5 or $4 per lead. And you can kind of pay as you go. So that's super cool. Go over to get a 30-day free trial. Check it out if you're getting online leads. That's what I did. I did the trial and I was like, oh, this is easy. Oh, this is cool. So they're responding within 5 minutes guaranteed. And it's effective. So now when leads come in, I ignore the notifications I get that just say, hey, a lead has come in. I wait until I get a notification from Agentology that says, hey, we just qualified Johnny Golightly, whatever. And so I now turned on notifications. So whenever Agentology sends me one of those qualified lead emails, that's when I respond. And here's what they do. They send me this email that says, hey, we just talked to Sally. She wants to buy a house in the avenues of Salt Lake or downtown. She's already pre-qualified. Her budget is $300 to $500K, and she wants to move within the next 6 months, and she wants a big backyard and stuff like that. So I have all this information. Then I call back, and they're already expecting my call or my text. How amazing is that? So that's really helped me convert a hell of a lot more leads, and I think that will really help you too. Whether you use them or somebody else, or you hire someone to do that for you, or you do it yourself, it's all good. But that's the system that I found is best, is responding within 5 minutes personally with a combination of phone call, text, and email. I would challenge you guys, if you have a system in place that you think is working, but you realize that, hey, 100% of your leads are not getting responded to within 5 minutes, let's figure out how we can plug that hole. Let's figure out how we can fix that situation, because with the system I put in place with Agentology, 100% of my leads get responded to within 5 minutes. You can't put a price on that. You never know if somebody is ready to go and they just want some information now, and they're bouncing around to 15 different realtor websites, and 5 minutes later they might not even know who you are or remember they were on your site or what property they were looking at. So it's crucial. It's going to help you sell more homes. I strongly recommend and challenge you to look at the system you have in place. And if you don't have a system, now you know to get a system and what that can look like. And then a couple quick tips for lead response too. So Agentology did this study because they, like I said, they do the lead response for, I think, thousands of agents all around the country. And so they have a ton of data on what's working and what isn't. And they say that there's that a ton of leads are responding to text messages in the morning hours. And as the day goes on, the response gets a little bit worse. So it's the morning hours where your leads are most receptive to responding by text. So incorporate that into the system you put into place. That's crucial. If you've been hitting people up in the afternoon and it's working, cool. But now I would try testing sending out those text messages in the morning and see if you get a better response. I think you'd be surprised. And like I said, most leads do come in after 8 p.m. So it's super important that you have some automatic or outsourced system in place. And at the beginning, when I was talking about automating versus outsourcing, automating was what I did with Lion Desk, where I just put them on a drip campaign and everyone was the same. There was no real personalization aside from putting their name into the text message. But if it's not, it just wasn't that powerful. So then when I outsourced the process to Agentology or whoever you're using to outsource it to, that's when it really started to convert better for me, and it's worth its weight in gold. Put that system in place, guys. So even if you have a system with an ISA or Agentology or 5 Street or Get Riley or whatever, where you have someone else responding to your leads for you, that doesn't mean that you can't also, if you see a lead come in, like if you're sitting there between showings in your car and you're just playing Angry Birds or something. Does anyone still play Angry Birds? That's like 2 years ago. My wife plays all these other, I don't even know what games she's playing. They're weird. But I swear they all involve candy or ice or so. Anyways, so if you're sitting there playing whatever it is, if you're listening to Yanni or Laurel over and over and over and over, trying to figure out which one it is. By the way, it's Laurel. That's just the right answer. Grab your phone, stick it out in front of you, press record, do a quick little 30-second message, send it back to the lead. Okay, let your ISA do their thing, but then you've also responded to them with a personal message that's laid back, and it's not all rehearsed. It's just, hey, how's it going? My name's Dustin. Just wanted to introduce myself. Looks like you're looking for a house over in this neighborhood. Cool. I actually grew up over there. Let's talk. Do it. See what happens. So guys, I want to end with saying this. If you have a system in place that you believe is working and you're satisfied with it, I'm not saying to scrap it. I'm not saying you should not continue doing that. What I am saying is test some other strategies, because you might be stoked on the results right now, but what if by tweaking a couple little things, you get 20% more leads converted? Duh, that's kind of a no-brainer, like kind of worth it, but you never know unless you test. So I challenge you to try to think about what's broken or what isn't performing as well as it could and figure out how to make it better. All right, so if you have a question that you want answered on the show, go over to Massive Agent Podcast on Facebook. Good. Oh, I said that weird. Go over to our Massive Agent Podcast Facebook page and message the page. Our chatbot prompts you to say, hey, do you have a question for the Massive Q&A? Boom, you can submit it that way. I've taken a break from Massive Q&A for the last couple weeks because, let's be honest, there were just so many stupid questions. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly, I'm joking. I just wanted to really get down to it and really dive into and focus on the content, or the topic rather, of each episode. So we're going to get into Massive Q&A over coming weeks. That's how you can submit a question, is over on our chatbot on the Massive Agent Podcast Facebook page. Now guys, so I'm recording this a week earlier than I normally would because as we speak, I'm in New York City. Well, if you're getting this on Thursday, on Tuesday, so 2 days prior to when this episode came out, I was actually at VoiceCon, which is a conference put on by VaynerMedia in New York City, and it's all about how to use voice in your marketing. So that's not only podcasting, but how to use Alexa skills, how to create your own Alexa skill and what that looks like, and what are the possibilities of using voice in your marketing. Yes, I have a podcast and I use that, but I don't have a clue how to use an Alexa skill. Like, I don't know. So I went to the conference to find out more about using voice and Alexa and Google Home and the Apple HomePod and stuff like that, how to use those to market your real estate business. I'm there now. I'm enjoying the rest of the week with my family in New York. We're staying right on Central Park. I'm super, super excited for that. Either the next week or the weekend after, I will be doing a full recap and update of VoiceCon, and I'm excited to bring you all the amazing, cutting-edge marketing technologies and marketing advice and marketing strategies that I learned there. So I will be doing a show on that. Look forward to that. It's a business trip, little trip to New York City, business trip. Have to hook up the Massive Agent peeps. Alrighty. So guys, to wrap it up, this is a free show. I don't charge you. I don't charge you for the show. I'd like to, but I've been advised by some smart people that I should not ask you to pay. That's what I wanted to do, but I was talked off the ledge. Now, jokes aside, guys, I do this show for free, and I only ask one thing. I don't ask for money. I ask that you please, if you get value from this show, if you've learned anything at all, or think that somebody else could, please help us share it. Please help us to grow our audience. The bigger our audience gets, that means the better guests that we can attract in the future to get on here and help you guys. How cool would it be one day to have Gary Vee on the show? Right? That's my goal. How cool would it be to have Grant Cardone come on and talk about real estate? I mean, because he's a big real estate guy. How cool would that be? So help us grow the audience, then we can get some better guests, right? I mean, because, come on now. We've been having like Jason Frazier. Come on now. Man, I'm just full of jokes, full of shit-talking jokes. I love Frazier. He's a good man. One of my best friends on the planet. But still, I'm still going to bust his balls. Because as you know from listening to this show, it takes brass balls to sell real estate. As you learned in my intro, it's just science. Help us spread the word. Go to iTunes, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Those help us out tremendously. I can't thank you guys enough, those who have left ratings and reviews for the show before. Thank you. Well, I hope this show brought you some value as well. I hope you learned something that can help you convert more of your leads, because guys, and especially you new agents that are still trying to figure some stuff out, if you're listening to this show and you're thinking, let's say you've only been in the business for 6 months and you've sold 3 homes and you're new. If you're already listening to a real estate marketing podcast and you're already starting to put marketing systems in place, you are light years ahead of where I was when I was where you're at. When I was new, like the first few years I was in the business, I completely underestimated marketing. I completely underestimated the importance of marketing. But you're so far ahead. So I'm super encouraged for you and excited for you because you're starting things off on the right foot. If you're getting leads coming in, awesome. But understand, once those leads come in, you have to then properly and effectively respond to them. So I hope today's show helps. If you have any other systems that are working for you that I have not mentioned, I'd love to hear about them. Shoot us a message. Go to the Massive Agent Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. Guys, hit us up on Instagram. I know not everybody loves Facebook. People love Instagram too. Go hit us up on @MassiveAgent. I'd love to hear from you over there and see what what's working for you in your market. But I'm going to sign off. I'm gonna zip it at this point. Again, I'm Dustin Brohm with eXp Realty in Salt Lake City. Go sell some homes. Take care.